In international law, and in almost every modern legal system, silence is interpreted as exactly one thing: an absence of response. Unless a person explicitly says yes, the law assumes they have not agreed. Afghanistan's new 31-article family law has inverted this logic. It creates a framework where the absence of a voice is transformed into a legally binding agreement. This decree was officially approved and published in the State Gazette by the Taliban's supreme leader, Hibatullah Akhundzada. The document integrates the removal of a woman's bodily autonomy directly into the state's official administrative and legal framework. Since returning to power in August 2021, the regime has systematically removed women from public life, banning girls from secondary schools, blocking them from the workplace, restricting their movement in the streets. Those early restrictions focused on the outside world. This new law represents a shift in focus, bringing the state's authority across the threshold and into the private home. The regime has expanded its control to the domestic sphere, establishing a legal basis for state-mandated ownership of women within their own families. The new family law contains several mandates, but the most debated provision focuses specifically on the mechanics of marriage proposals. Under this clause, if a virgin girl who has reached puberty is proposed to and remains silent, her lack of a response is legally registered as her consent. This assumption is highly specific. It explicitly does not apply to boys, nor previously married women. By excluding men and adult widows, the rule focuses entirely on young, unmarried girls, turning natural hesitation or fear into a binding legal contract. The document also permits relatives beyond the immediate father or grandfather to arrange proxy marriages for minors. These arrangements are governed by subjective standards, requiring only that the couple be socially compatible and the dowry exchange be fair. The law does mention an Islamic principle that allows a child bride to seek an annulment once she reaches adulthood. However, the text clarifies that this annulment has no legal standing unless it is reviewed and approved by a Taliban court. This aligns with other sections of the law that grant state judges absolute authority over family disputes, divorce proceedings, and the punishment of adultery. These theoretical protections function as a dragnet. The system funnels absolute final authority over these marriages directly into the hands of the state's male judges. Human rights observers warn that these provisions will lead to a significant increase in forced child marriages. The Taliban leadership has dismissed these concerns, maintaining that the rules are a strict application of Islamic law and traditional Afghan systems. This creates an unyielding deadlock between international human rights standards and a regime that operates entirely on its own self-validating legal code. On the streets of Kabul, the city appears unchanged, but behind the doors of those homes, the state has now provided a legal shield for domestic practices that were previously outside the law. This law removes the legal validity of refusal. For an Afghan girl, the simple act of staying silent when afraid now carries the weight of a lifelong commitment. The regime has moved beyond simply ignoring the voices of women. They have built a system where a girl's silence is the very tool used to take her freedom.